Cyanide is a compound composed of one carbon and one nitrogen atom. It's toxic. Spies use it in movies as a suicide pill. It's a very dangerous chemical, but did you know it's actually found in apples? So wait, is that what happened to Snow White?
Yes, Apple. Oh, why, thank you.
Well, not exactly. Normally, cyanide is toxic because it prevents cells from using oxygen properly, which leads to cell death. How can a single compound cause a cell to die? It all has to do with the electron transport chain. It is pretty obvious that humans need to breathe and take in oxygen to live, but why is that? Oxygen is a very important component in the process of cellular respiration, in which our cells use an energy source, such as the sugar glucose, and oxygen to make carbon dioxide, water, and energy. The energy that is made needs to be stored in order to be used, and it is stored in a molecule called ATP. These molecules are made primarily through something called an electron transport chain, which is a series of pumps along the inner membrane of the mitochondria that use electrons to form the molecules of ATP. The movement of electrons across this membrane creates an imbalance of charge on one side of the membrane, and your cells want the charge to be even, which is what drives the pumps that make the ATP. Cyanide binds to an enzyme in the electron transport chain which transports electrons to oxygen, so the presence of cyanide prevents oxygen from functioning properly in the cell, disrupting the entire process. If oxygen does not accept electrons in the electron transport chain, the charge evens out on either side of the membrane, which causes the electron transport chain to stop working. As a result, your cells would stop making ATP, without which your cells would begin to die.
There is a stigma around whether or not apples contain cyanide in doses that may be lethal. Apple seeds, along with other fruits like cherries, peaches, and almonds, contain trace amounts of cyanide, which is a lethal poison. However, this cyanide is not exposed to humans to be able to cause any harm. For example, apples contain a hard seed coating which helps protect the body from being exposed to the cyanide. Even eating an entire apple seed would not be dangerous because the seeds pass through the body and are expelled in our waste. However, if small amounts of cyanide are ingested, the body is able to break it down and not allow it to cause any harm to the body. Therefore, there is no concern with eating foods like apples that contain low levels of cyanide.
So let's review. Cyanide is a toxic chemical because it keeps electrons and oxygen from being used properly. It binds to other important enzymes in the body, keeping the electrons from flowing to oxygen in the electron transport chain. When the electron transport chain stops working, no energy, or ATP molecules, are made. Without ATP, there is no energy for the body to function. So why can we still eat foods that have cyanide in them? Because it is found in foods that have a protective layer around the chemical, so even if you ate apple seeds, cyanide would not be absorbed by the body due to that coating. Plus, in very tiny amounts, the body is able to break down cyanide molecules to protect you from harm.
An apple a day keeps the doctor away.